From the Rogue Word Studio in Dallas, Texas, it's The Lit Show with Jeremy Fee. New episode each Tuesday. Authors welcome, comments encouraged. Hello everyone, welcome to The Lit Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Fee. As always, I've got something special for you today. I'm doing an author spotlight for Margaret Pinard. I've really enjoyed reading all 5 books by Margaret Pinard. I've already made videos about the Remnants Trilogy, The Keening, The Grasping Root, and Stormrack and Spindrift. Those 3 books were a real delight to read, and I encourage you to go back and watch my videos about them. But that means today, I still need to talk about Margaret Pinard's other 2 books. It's Memories Hostage and Dulci's Legacy. Because I read her books out of order, the Remnants series was books 3, 4, and 5 by Margaret Pinard, so these are the first 2 books. We'll start with Memories Hostage. This is a book that some people love and some people hate. And it's funny because I read the reviews online, and some of the characteristics that people disliked, I absolutely loved about it. For example, some people complain that the book has short chapters. I love the short chapters. It makes it feel to me like I've accomplished a lot. Even if I only read for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm able to read multiple chapters, and that feels good. Maybe because it was her first book, they didn't enjoy the writing as much, but I thought the writing was just fine. One of the reasons that I absolutely love this book is because Memories Hostage really grabbed me from the first 2 pages. It's got a hook with a mystery that I wanted to know what happened. And throughout the whole book, I was never bored. I kept taking in the clues, and I really enjoyed trying to figure out the mystery myself. It's sort of like the idea of Jason Bourne from The Bourne Identity, because it's a character who doesn't remember who she is. She wakes up strangely in the bathtub of someone's house. That's a really weird place to wake up. Naked, alone, unsure of how you got there, or really who you are, what your life has been. And that's an exciting way to begin a story. It's set in the same sort of time period as Jane Austen's novels like Pride and Prejudice and that sort of stuff. Small British towns with people gossiping and knowing each other's business. But there's much more going on than that. With the police, the government, and international conspiracy, there's a lot happening here for Memories Hostage. So I really enjoyed trying to piece it together. The wealthy family from the house where she wakes up. The guy leading the family seems to be a nice guy who had not kidnapped her and put her in that situation. And he's very curious how she ended up there. In fact, he's concerned that someone is framing him. Someone is trying to make this look like a bad, scandalous event to hurt his family. So he's looking into it. The police are looking into it, but some of the police are potentially corrupt, while others may actually be honest and helpful. And then there's this whole other angle going on. I don't want to give you spoilers, but I believe that Memories Hostage is certainly worth a read. If you are a fan of Margaret Pinard and her other books, definitely, I would say read this. Just understand that it was her first book. And so some people say they don't like the writing as much. They feel like it's not as advanced as her later books. Though I personally had no issue with the writing whatsoever. In fact, I thought that this was Margaret Pinard's best mystery, best compelling hook and concept to go throughout a book. Though I do really like the Remnants Trilogy and the idea of the family trying to survive as well. Alright, that brings me to Margaret Pinard's other book, the one that I have not reviewed yet. It's Dulci's Legacy. This was Margaret Pinard writing what is basically a young adult romance with supernatural elements in it, but it's historical fiction. So for me, I was hooked on the historical fiction part. I don't think that I'm the ideal audience for young adult romance, though the supernatural element is really interesting, and I did like that. So I love the historical aspects. I enjoyed the supernatural aspects. I was not as interested in the romance, but like I said, I'm not necessarily the ideal target audience for that. And there are some twists for this romance story that you might not see coming. So I enjoyed reading Dulci's Legacy. This is the type of book that's written to where I actually expected, even though it stands on its own, that there could be an interesting sequel to it. And I was somewhat surprised that Margaret Pinard has not written a sequel to it. But I suppose I could say the same thing about Memories Hostage. I think Margaret Pinard could write a sequel to that one as well, and she just hasn't I guess she wrote these as standalone books and moved on. Oh, nice. There's a loud truck outside. Maybe that is a sign that I should end the video soon. If you've never read one of Margaret Pinard's books, I do recommend that you start with the Remnants series, that trilogy, just because I enjoyed it so much. The first book in that series is called The Keening, and it is about a Scottish family in poverty that has to move, find a new way of life. It's a historical fiction novel, so it's really interesting to see how they try and survive. They immigrate to North America. They end up in Canada and Nova Scotia, so it's going from Scotland to Nova Scotia, and that's really interesting, seeing the family try to survive and everything that they go through. And then what's really fun is book 2, The Grasping Root, and book 3, Stormrack and Spendthrift. They continue the saga of the family. The Keening focused on 2 members of the family for the most part. The Grasping Root mainly focused on 2 other members of the family as they were coming of age and becoming more important. And then the third book is the last 2 main members of the family that it is able to focus on. Of course, this is a series that I feel like Margaret Pinard could potentially write more books in for future generations of the family, though I'm pretty sure she's moved on, and the next book that she's going to publish is going to be about something else. She's talked about it some on her YouTube channel. I highly encourage you, if you're not subscribed to Margaret Pinard, she does great BookTube and AuthorTube videos. Sometimes she does talks with other authors. She does a lot of live streaming now. Go check out her channel if you're not already watching and subscribe to her. That's my author spotlight for today. Every Tuesday is a good Tuesday for a book talk. Peace.